His voice didn't shake when he said it. "She's pregnant. I had to tell you." He raised his glass across the candlelit table, looked straight into his wife's eyes, and shattered 10 years of marriage with 6 words. Rena didn't cry. She didn't scream. She didn't break the wine glass or throw the plate. She simply stood, picked up her clutch, and walked out of the restaurant like someone who had just buried the final version of the man she married. But what her husband didn't know that night was that 3 weeks later, the real truth would destroy him. Welcome back to Mr. Charles Stories, where love meets accountability and silence is not weakness but power in disguise. If you've ever been betrayed by the one who swore to protect your heart, stay with us. Because this isn't just a story about heartbreak, it's about a woman who didn't chase revenge. She became it. Like, share, comment your thoughts, and subscribe, because what's coming next will make you believe in the quiet strength of walking away. 10 years. That's how long Rena had stood beside him. Through job changes, sleepless nights with colicky babies, family losses and cross-country moves, she stayed. Not because it was easy, but because marriage to her meant commitment even when love didn't feel warm. Now, standing in front of her bedroom mirror, she adjusted the silver bracelet Arden had given her on their 5th anniversary. Back then, he said she made loyalty look like a crown. Tonight, it felt like a chain. The soft silk of her deep navy dress clung gently to her skin. She had chosen it because Arden once said it made her glow. That was when compliments flowed naturally from him. Before the shift, before the late meetings and guarded phones, before the silence, she inhaled deeply, pressed down the worry crawling up her spine, and stepped out of the room. Arden had picked the restaurant, the same one where he proposed. Candlelight, low jazz, white linen. It should have been nostalgic, but the air between them was cold. He stood when she approached, kissed her cheek without warmth, and pulled out her chair like a man rehearsing decency. "You look elegant," he said. "Not beautiful, not stunning, just elegant." Rena smiled anyway. "Happy anniversary." He nodded, signaling the waiter without looking at her again. They ordered. They ate. He asked about the kids, her new garden bed, the nanny's schedule. She answered politely, but every answer felt like a thread holding together a dress too tight to wear. She tried laughter once, at a joke she forced herself to make. He didn't hear it, or maybe he did and ignored it. When dessert came, so did the unraveling. Arden cleared his throat. He didn't reach for her hand. He didn't soften his voice. "I need to say something." Rena tilted her head slightly. "Don't say you forgot the gift. She's pregnant," he said flatly. Rena blinked once. "She..." Her voice remained still. "Naomi," he said. We didn't plan this. But I want to do the right thing." Do the right thing? A decade, 2 children, years of compromise, and now he wanted to be honorable. She nodded slowly, pressed her napkin to her lips like she was wiping away soup, not the sting of betrayal. "I see." No scene, no raised voice, just clarity. She stood, collected her clutch, pushed the chair back with quiet grace. "Rena," he started. She paused, looked down at him and said, "You don't have to explain. You already made the decision." And then she walked away. No one at the restaurant turned. There were no gasps, no shattered glass, just the soft click of her heels against polished wood and the weight of a decade collapsing in silence. Outside, the night air kissed her shoulders. She didn't cry, not yet. The betrayal hadn't landed. It hovered. The Uber ride home felt slow. She looked out the window, blinking against the streetlights. Home was quiet. The sitter had put the kids to bed. Their backpacks were neatly hung, and the kitchen smelled of microwaved pizza. Rena thanked the sitter, handed her a tip, and locked the door behind her. She didn't go to their room. She went to the guest room, the one they said they'd convert into a study, the one she now claimed as hers. No text from Arden. She didn't expect one. She changed into her soft cotton shirt, brushed her teeth, and climbed into a bed that didn't carry his scent. Lying there, staring at the ceiling, She remembered how they used to fall asleep laughing, how they once whispered about baby names at 2 a.m., how he kissed her hand every morning before leaving. Now, he was choosing someone else, choosing her, Naomi. Who was Naomi? The name didn't sting yet, but it would. The next morning, she woke early, not from rest, but from emotional weight. The kids needed breakfast, lunches packed, hair combed, shoelaces tied. She smiled at them like nothing was broken. Because they didn't deserve to carry this, she poured juice, toasted waffles, checked homework. Arden came downstairs in a crisp shirt. He looked at her, maybe expecting confrontation, maybe expecting tears. He got neither. "Morning," she said plainly. He nodded. The kids chattered. He kissed their foreheads. He met Rena's eyes once. There was nothing in his gaze but awkward guilt. She didn't flinch. After school drop-off, Rena sat in the car, hands on the steering wheel, unmoving. This wasn't going to be a screaming match. It wouldn't be a drawn-out war. It would be the slow reclaiming of everything he thought she'd never walk away from. That afternoon, she packed a few of her own things into the guest room drawers. Not everything, just enough. Enough to tell him without saying it, "We don't share a space anymore." She set aside a small stack of books to donate. Among them, she found an old letter Arden had written her 2 years ago, after a miscarriage, when she couldn't get out of bed. He had written, "You are the only place I feel safe in this world. I won't ever stop choosing you." She folded the letter quietly, placed it in her drawer, and whispered, "I miss that version of you." When Arden came home that night, she was already in the guest room, reading. He paused at the door. "You're not sleeping in our room?" She looked up, calm. "No." He shifted his stance. "I thought we could talk." She set the book down. "Did you think about talking before you shared a bed with someone else?" He exhaled. "I didn't mean for this to happen." Her tone didn't rise. "You didn't mean for a lot of things, but you did them anyway." He nodded, eyes dim. "I didn't choose this." She tilted her head slightly. "You're a grown man, Arden. Nothing just happens." And then she picked up her book again. That night, she changed every password. Not out of fear, but out of finality. If you've ever had to smile through devastation, if you've ever had to stand tall when the ground cracked beneath you, drop a comment and tell us what dignity looked like for you. Because Rena isn't done. She's only just begun. Rena woke up early, not from peace, but routine. Her body knew what time the children stirred, what time the coffee brewed, what time the school bell rang in her head, long before it echoed in real life. She moved through the kitchen quietly, stacking lunchboxes like armor. Arden came downstairs 20 minutes later. He stood by the door, tying his tie like nothing had changed. But everything had. She placed a lunchbox into each child's backpack, kissed both of them on the forehead, and opened the door without looking at Arden. He followed them out, quiet, careful. Rena watched as the car rolled down the driveway, her children waving through the glass, unaware that the parents behind their breakfast weren't a unit anymore. Back inside, she sat by the dining table, staring at a calendar. Their anniversary had been marked in silver, a circle, a reminder. She crossed it out. Then, she looked at the month ahead. She wrote down, Monday, legal consult at noon Tuesday, realtor to call Wednesday, resume update Friday, therapy intake. Her healing would not be loud. It would be scheduled. Later that day, while folding towels, her phone buzzed. A text. Arden, can we talk? She stared at it, typed, "There's nothing left to say," then deleted it. Instead, she placed the phone screen down and finished folding. Because that's what she had learned. You don't always need to respond. Some messages aren't questions. They're guilt wearing politeness. When evening came, Arden didn't come home. Rena wasn't surprised. She poured herself tea, sat on the porch, listened to cicadas hum against the darkening sky. Her neighbors were laughing next door. Probably a game night, probably nothing extraordinary. And still, The sound of it made her throat tighten, because once, their house was the one that laughed like that. She sipped slowly, then went inside. By the third night, Arden had returned. He came in late, quietly, no announcement. She was in the kitchen, wiping the counters. He paused at the doorway, watching her. "You're still here," he said. She turned, still calm. "I live here." He stepped inside. I stayed with Naomi last night." She blinked. "Once. That's your decision." He rubbed his face. "You don't have any questions?" "No." She's scared. Emotional. "It's a lot." Rena looked him in the eye. "You know what else is a lot? Watching your husband explain someone else's emotions like they matter more than yours." Arden looked down. Rena set the towel on the counter and walked away. She didn't need to scream. Her silence did what anger never could. That weekend, she drove the kids to her sister's house 2 towns over. They stayed the night, laughed, played with cousins, ate pancakes shaped like stars. When her sister asked what was going on, Rena said, "Nothing I can't handle." And she meant it, because something had shifted in her. Not sadness, not even anger. Resolve. Back home Sunday evening, the driveway was empty. Arden wasn't back. She walked into the bedroom. His side of the closet was untouched. Still hanging. Still lying. Still pretending. She opened the drawer beside their bed and pulled out the journal she hadn't touched in years. The one she wrote in during the early days of their marriage, when love felt wide and full. She flipped to a blank page and wrote, "Day 1. I am no longer waiting to be chosen. I am choosing myself." Monday morning, she called the architectural firm she'd worked for before the children were born. "Send over your updated portfolio," the receptionist said. She smiled. "You'll have it by noon." By 11:43 a.m., her resume, portfolio, and a short note were in the hiring manager's inbox. By 2 p.m., her phone rang. Interview scheduled for Friday. She closed her laptop and whispered, "Let's go." That night, Arden came home. He looked like he hadn't slept. Shirt wrinkled, jaw unshaven. She was cooking. Calmly, the kids were playing in the living room. He stood behind her. "Can I help?" She handed him a spoon. No eye contact. Dinner was quiet. When the kids went to bed, he stayed behind, lingering at the table. "I'm trying," he said. She wiped her hands. "Trying to do what?" "Convince yourself this wasn't a mistake, or that I'm the kind of woman who forgets betrayal because you're uncomfortable." He sat down. "Naomi's different. She made me feel seen." Rena turned. Calm. Sharp. "No. She made you feel new." "That's different." He opened his mouth, closed it. She stepped closer. "You want to know what I am now, Arden? I'm the woman who no longer begs to be noticed." He swallowed hard. "You've spent the last 6 months slowly walking away, and I stayed. I forgave. I waited, until you broke it all in one night. I didn't mean to." "You meant it," she cut in. "You may regret it now. But you meant it then." That night, Rena moved her wedding photo into a drawer, not because she hated the memory, but because she no longer needed it to define her future. The next day, she received a message from a former colleague. "Heard you're coming back. They'll be lucky to have you." She smiled, because every step forward was now hers. No permission, no waiting. Thursday evening, she sat on the floor of the guest room with her laptop open, a glass of wine beside her, and Spotify playing soft piano. She made a spreadsheet titled Exit Strategy, tabs. Finances, housing options, legal contacts, co-parenting plan. Not because she wanted war, but because she refused to be unprepared again. When Arden passed by the guest room that night, he stopped at the doorway. "You're building a plan." She didn't stop typing. "I'm building a life. Without me." Rena turned to him finally. "Arden, you already left. I'm just catching up." The next week passed like smoke in a still room. Rena said little. She cooked when the kids were hungry. She answered their questions. She dropped them off and picked them up from school. She kept the home running, but she didn't speak more than necessary, because her silence wasn't emptiness. It was information. It told Arden more than shouting ever could. You are no longer the center of this home. He noticed. He stood longer in doorways, tried making small talk over breakfast, sat beside her on the couch, waiting for some old routine to return. It didn't. Rena sat with her legs crossed, reading housing guides, apartment listings, even co-working spaces for mothers who returned to the workforce. She wasn't browsing, she was planning. Arden hovered. He'd say things like, "Naomi's having a hard time. She says she didn't mean to complicate anything. She's confused." Rena never looked up when he spoke about her. Eventually, he stopped mentioning Naomi altogether. One evening, Arden brought home Chinese takeout, her favorite place, the one with the spicy ginger tofu and crispy honey beef. He laid it out, lit candles, played the playlist they used to share. She sat at the table, ate, in silence. "Rena," he started. She glanced up. He swallowed. "You know, we were good. We were so good." She nodded. "We were." He leaned forward. "I made a mistake. I lost control." She didn't blink. "You made a decision. Every day." Until the damage was done, he stared at her. "I thought it would fix something inside me," he said. Rena tilted her head. "And now," he looked down, "I don't feel fixed. I feel hollow." She stood, picked up her plate. "That's because you broke the wrong thing to feel whole." She rinsed her plate, wiped the counter, and went to bed. Friday came fast. Her interview was at 10 a.m. She wore a sleek tan blouse and black slacks, minimal makeup, a small gold necklace, and the scent of confidence. The office was familiar, renovated, but still hers in memory. The hiring manager, Daria, greeted her with warm eyes. "We were excited when we saw your name." Rena smiled. "I was excited to send it." They talked portfolios, design software, scheduling. Daria asked what motivated her return. Rena didn't flinch. "Life rearranges things." I rearranged with it. By the end, the handshake was firm, the smile real. "You'll hear from us by Monday," Daria said. Outside the building, Rena stood for a moment longer than needed. It wasn't nostalgia, it was ownership. She hadn't returned to her past. She'd brought her future here. Back home, Arden was playing with the kids in the living room. He looked up as she entered. Hope flickered. She smiled at the children, kissed their heads, walked past him without pause. That evening, she sat with her laptop in the guest room again, budgeting, researching. She messaged her lawyer. "I'm ready to start paperwork. No drama, just clarity." Saturday morning, Arden surprised her. He came downstairs with pancakes, chocolate chips, whipped cream, her favorite. Again, the kids cheered. Rena joined them at the table. He looked proud, like a man reclaiming something, until she stood mid-meal and placed a check beside his coffee. "What's this?" he asked. "Half of the mortgage for the next 3 months. I'll be moving out in 90 days. The kids were laughing in the next room. Music played softly, but Arden's face dropped. "You're leaving?" She nodded. "We're not married anymore, Arden. You just never filed the paperwork. I told you I was sorry, and I told you that sorry isn't glue." He followed her to the kitchen. "You're throwing 10 years away?" "I'm letting go of something you dropped first. I ended things with her." She paused. "But you didn't return to me. You returned to your guilt." He exhaled. "I love you." She looked him straight in the eyes. "No, you remember loving me. You don't get to label this now. You unlabeled me the night you picked her." He stood frozen as she walked away. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't weep. She simply made him feel the weight of absence while she was still in the room. The name Naomi didn't echo through the house anymore, but Rena could still feel it on the doorknobs, in the hallway, in the pauses Arden left behind when he forgot how to speak to her. The name lingered, not because Rena feared her, but because she refused to erase what Arden invited into their life. Rena started waking up earlier. Before the kids. Before Arden. She took her tea outside. Sat barefoot on the porch. The chill in the morning air kept her sharp. Focused. She read property listings. Watched tutorials on managing finances post-separation. Followed women online who rebuilt after betrayal. One quote struck her. "You don't heal in the place you were hurt. You rebuild somewhere that never lied to you." She saved it as her phone lock screen. Arden tried again that weekend. A Sunday dinner. He cooked. Real effort this time. From scratch. He wore the navy sweater she once loved on him. He set the table for 4. The kids were excited. It felt familiar. Almost right. Rena sat quietly through it. She listened to Arden laugh with the kids. She smiled. Not at him, but for them. After dinner, when the children ran off to play, he approached her. "Stay," he said gently. She didn't look up. "I'm already leaving. I know I messed up." "You dismantled a marriage," she corrected. He swallowed. "But I'm trying to put it back together. With tape." She stood. Picked up the dishes. Arden reached for her wrist. Softly. "Rena, I ended it with her. She wasn't who I thought she was." Rena stared at him. "No. She's exactly who she was. You just didn't care to see it until you lost what mattered." Later that night, she overheard Arden on the phone. His voice low, urgent. "No, Naomi. Don't show up here." Pause. "No, I'm not changing my mind. You lied." Another pause. "I don't care how emotional you are. You played me. You played all of us." He hung up, sat in the dark. Rena didn't comfort him. He wasn't hers to soothe anymore. The next day, she received a text. "Daria, congratulations, Rena. We'd love to have you on board. Let's discuss terms." She closed her eyes, exhaled slowly, then replied, "Grateful. I'm ready." That night, she told the kids she'd be starting work again soon. "Will Daddy still drop us off?" her daughter asked. Rena smiled. "Sometimes. We'll do what works best. Will you still paint with us at night?" Her son added. "Always," she said. "Mommy's not going anywhere for the important parts." Meanwhile, Arden was unraveling. The calls from Naomi didn't stop. She sent emails, voice notes, even packages. Rena didn't open them. Arden did. Inside one envelope was a paternity test, blank. Another included fake ultrasound prints. And one held a note. "You were never smart enough to see me coming." Arden crumbled. He showed Rena everything. "I swear, I didn't know she was lying. I thought." She cut him off. He wanted to believe her, because it was easier than doing the work here. Arden looked shattered. "I ruined everything," he said. Rena nodded. "And you'll live with that. Just like I lived with pretending nothing was wrong, until it exploded." He sat down at the kitchen island, head in his hands. She stood tall. "I'm not your nursemaid, Arden. I'm not your rescue." Silence. "I'm your consequence." She walked away. Upstairs, she pulled out a folder labeled Transition Plan. She had outlined schedules, assets, parenting agreements, boundaries. She wasn't seeking revenge through rage. She was seeking justice through order. 2 days later, she met with her lawyer. Clean separation, no drama. Protect the children. Protect her time. No need for spousal support. She was working now. Ownership of the house? Negotiable. Her peace? Non-negotiable. That weekend, her children's laughter filled the backyard. Rena sat on the porch again, tea in hand, watching them. Arden sat beside her, quiet, hoping. She spoke first. "I'm not angry anymore." He turned, hopeful. "I'm indifferent." His face fell. "That's worse," he whispered. "No. That's freedom." The next morning, Rena printed a new page for her journal. She wrote, Chapter 2. "The woman I am becoming will never beg for clarity. She lives in it." She tucked it into her purse and walked out the door, to her first day back in the world she once left behind. The office smelled like eucalyptus and ambition. Rena's heels clicked across the polished concrete floor as she walked past. Glass conference rooms and design mock-ups pinned to creative boards. Her portfolio rested against her hip. Her name now carried weight again, not as a wife, but as a professional. The team welcomed her back with nods and small smiles. Daria walked her to her new desk near the windows. "Everything's set up," she said. "And yes, we gave you a coffee machine near your seat, per your old habit." Rena laughed gently. "I appreciate that." Her voice felt stronger. Her presence no longer faded behind anyone's shadow. By mid-morning, Rena was already in sync with the project teams. Her mind moved fast, efficient. She didn't hesitate when asked for input. Her voice didn't tremble during presentations. This wasn't a comeback. It was a return to the self she had put on pause. Meanwhile, back at home, Arden stared at an empty dining table. The kids were at school, Rena at work. He was alone. It wasn't silence, it was absence. The kitchen was clean. The guest room door was open. She hadn't left yet, not physically, but the emotional departure had already happened. He walked past her vision boards, saw a sticky note that read, "Build from the ashes." That's where the fire already burned. He sat down, reading it again and again. For the first time he realized Rena wasn't breaking down. She was breaking through. That afternoon, she returned from work at 6:30 p.m. Her hair was wind-blown, her posture firm. The kids ran into her arms. Arden opened the door for her. "How was it?" Rena smiled at the children. "Wonderful." She walked past him without comment. Later, she poured a glass of water, leaning against the counter while the kids watched a movie. Arden stood beside her, quiet. "I saw your sticky note," he said. She didn't look at him. "I didn't know you had that kind of strength," he continued. She raised an eyebrow, eyes still on the fridge door. "That's because you were never looking." That night, she stayed up late, organizing a new schedule. Shared parenting time, pickups and drop-offs, holidays, routines. She wrote it all out, color-coded, structured, fair. Arden glanced at the table. "You've already decided everything?" "Yes. I wasn't consulted. You weren't when you risked the family either." He stood there, stuck. "I just want to be part of the solution now." She looked up, calm, cold. "You can't help fix what you destroyed while I was busy holding it together." He nodded, defeated. The next day, Rena stopped by a pottery studio near her office. It was a last-minute decision, a why-not moment. The room smelled of clay and possibility. She joined a beginner's class. The instructor smiled, handed her a stool and said, "Clay remembers the pressure of your hands, but it becomes something new once you shape it." Rena smirked. "Good, I'm done staying the same." She molded her first piece slowly. The clay resisted, then bent, much like her life. That night, she got home late, her hands still dusted with dried clay. The kids were asleep. Arden was reading on the couch. "Pottery?" he asked, noticing the smudges. Rena nodded. "I didn't know you were into that. I didn't know you were into betrayal, but here we are." She said it plainly. No rage, no heat. Arden set the book down. "You never used to speak like this." She turned to face him. "That's because I spent 10 years trying to keep the peace. Now I've learned peace isn't silence, it's clarity." He said nothing. She walked upstairs without another word. In bed, she opened her journal again. She wrote, "The version of me who cried is resting now. I don't mourn him, I mourn who I had to become to keep him." By the third week of pottery class, Rena had finished her first piece. A small, asymmetrical bowl. Not perfect, but honest. The edges curled where her fingers had lost balance. A tiny crack ran down one side, but it didn't break. The instructor smiled when she handed it over. "This one's stubborn," he said. Rena nodded. So was I. She brought it home and placed it in the center of the kitchen table. No flowers, no fruit, just that one bowl. Arden noticed it the moment he walked in. "What's this?" he asked. My hands, she replied. My story, fired in heat, cooled on its own. He reached to touch it. She stopped him. It's not yours to hold. That weekend, Rena took the kids to the bookstore. They picked out 3 new picture books, 2 puzzle sets, and a calendar. Rena added a memoir by a woman who left her marriage at 42 and started over in a 1-bedroom apartment. She wasn't looking for validation. She was looking for mirrors. Arden was waiting on the porch when they returned. He carried in the bags and helped the kids put away their things. Then, standing in the kitchen, he asked, "Have you told them yet?" "Told them what?" "That we're separating." Rena exhaled. "No, I will. When it's real." He looked at her. "It's not real yet?" "No, not until I'm gone." His face tensed. "You're really going through with it?" "Yes, but Naomi's gone. I told you." She was lying. "I see it all now." Rena poured juice into a glass, calmly. "You don't get to wake up late and ask me to pause the damage." He watched her from across the room, desperate. "I've been reading books, watching things, trying to figure out how to make things right." She sipped her drink. "Arden, if you needed the internet to teach you how to treat your wife, the lesson's too late." That night, she emailed the realtor she'd quietly hired. Subject, confirmed timeline. "We are ready." She didn't wait for Arden's permission. He'd forfeited the right to her decisions the night he looked her in the eye and picked someone else's future over their shared past. Monday morning came. Rena packed lunches, double-checked homework, kissed foreheads, and watched the kids climb into the car. Arden drove them to school. He asked, "Can we talk tonight?" She replied, "We've already said everything, but I haven't told you how much I miss you." Rena smiled softly. "That's not my burden to carry anymore." At work, she excelled. She presented a pitch that stunned the board. Clean lines, bold colors, a balance of function and emotion. Daria pulled her aside after the meeting. "You haven't lost it." Rena shrugged. "I didn't lose it. I just gave it to the wrong places." At lunch, she sat alone, not out of loneliness, but choice. She liked her own company now. The silence inside her was no longer a wound. It was a room she'd furnished with clarity. That night, she returned to the kitchen table. The bowl still sat there, a reminder. Arden came in, holding a photo album. "I thought maybe you'd want this." She took it, flipped through pages of young love, baby pictures, vacations, holidays. She stopped at one image, her and Arden at a beach, arms around each other. She stared at her own face. There was light in her eyes. Confidence. She handed the album back. "Thank you, but I've already taken what I need from those years." He placed it gently on the table. "I still love you," he said quietly. She didn't respond. Instead, she picked up the bowl, held it carefully, then turned. "I'm not fragile, Arden. I just finally hardened where you thought I'd bend forever." She walked away, and this time, he didn't follow. Tuesday morning came like any other. Rena made coffee, set out cereal, packed backpacks, braided her daughter's hair with steady hands. Arden sat at the table, unusually quiet. The children didn't notice. They were humming a song from school, arguing about whose turn it was to sit by the window in the car. Arden watched them like he was memorizing something about to disappear. Rena noticed, but said nothing. She was already emotionally gone. She drove alone that morning. Her work schedule was full, her mind focused. No room for Arden, no energy for nostalgia. But at 11:14 a.m., her phone buzzed. "Arden, call me. Now." She ignored it. At 11:15 a.m., another message. "Arden." It wasn't real. She lied. She was never pregnant. Rena froze, stared at the screen, let it buzz one more time before sliding it face down. Because what do you say when a man who lit your life on fire tells you he burned it for nothing? She didn't call him back. Not at lunch, not after work. When she got home, Arden was pacing in the kitchen. "She lied," he said the moment she walked in. Naomi lied. She forged everything, the tests, the ultrasound, all of it. Rena put down her bag, removed her heels. How did you find out? She admitted it. Today. She said she wanted to trap me. Rena poured a glass of water. I destroyed us for nothing, he said, choking. No, she replied calmly. You destroyed us for something. You destroyed us because it was easier to believe her than to protect what you had. I thought, that's the problem, she snapped. You thought, you didn't ask, you didn't investigate. You just believed what made you feel important. He fell silent. She leaned against the counter, arms crossed. I wasn't enough for you to defend before ruining everything. And now, you think the truth will fix it? He stepped forward. I ended it. She's gone. You ended us first, she said. Her absence doesn't resurrect what you killed. That night, he tried to make dinner. She didn't eat. The kids sat between them at the table, babbling about school. Arden tried to act normal. Rena kept her focus on the children. Every smile was for them. Every word was chosen for their comfort, not his. He reached across the table for her hand once. She moved hers to pick up a napkin. After bedtime, Arden knocked gently on the guest room door. Can we talk? She opened it, left it wide, didn't ask him to come in. He stood in the doorway like a man begging a locked gate to forgive. I didn't know she was lying, he whispered. But you knew I was your wife, she replied. And that didn't stop you. I didn't mean to hurt you. Rena smiled sadly. You didn't mean to, but you did. You don't believe in second chances? He asked. I do, she said. Just not for people who gamble with loyalty. He lowered his eyes. Is there really no way back? She shook her head slowly. There's only forward now. Even if I fix it, you're not God, Arden. You don't raise the dead. He stood there for another moment, then walked away. The door stayed open. But she didn't follow. Later, she texted her attorney, new development. He was misled, but my decision is unchanged. Her lawyer replied, understood. Strength looks good on you. Before bed, Rena wrote one line in her journal. Truth delayed is trust denied. The morning after the confession, Rena was already up when the sky was still grey. She had slept lightly, her thoughts running in clean lines, not in pain but in decisions. No more spirals, no more doubt. She took her coffee outside, even in the chill. The air was brisk, but she liked it that way. Honest, awake. Arden came out a few minutes later. He held a cup too, like he wanted to mirror her movements. But there was no rhythm between them anymore, only separation. He leaned against the rail, unsure of where to stand. She didn't invite him closer. He tried anyway. I couldn't believe it when she said it, he began. Rena sipped her coffee. But you believed her when she said she was pregnant. He looked down. I did. I thought she had no reason to lie. Rena shook her head. Arden, I had 10 years of reasons to stay. And you questioned me more than her. He inhaled slowly, the kind of breath someone takes when they realize they lost something permanent. I thought you'd forgive me. No. You thought I'd stay. There's a difference. Inside, the kids were still asleep. It was Saturday. Cartoons and cereal day. Rena put her mug down and walked back in. She didn't ask Arden to follow. She didn't have to. She wasn't moving for him anymore. She knelt in front of the pantry, pulled out cereal boxes, laid out 2 bowls and a banana, then paused at the fridge with her hand on the orange juice. Behind her, Arden stood silently watching. He knew not to interrupt. Later that morning, while the kids were outside playing, Rena opened her laptop. The realtor had emailed her 5 property options, each one within her budget, each one with good schools nearby, each one far enough from the current house that it wouldn't feel haunted. She clicked through photos, sunlight through wide windows, clean walls, fresh beginnings. Arden walked past, saw her screen. You're serious about this? I have been for a while, she said, eyes never leaving the screen. Can we talk about other options? She looked up finally. We did. You chose yours the night you believed her. He stepped back, like her words had weight. And they did. At lunch, he made sandwiches. He tried again. I called her again. I told her never to contact me. She said she was sorry. Rena raised an eyebrow. That must have been hard for her. He blinked. You still trying to explain her to me, Arden? No, I'm just... Because you were always better at protecting other women's feelings than your wife's. He put the knife down slowly. She said it wasn't about the baby, he added. She said it was about being chosen. Rena nodded. That makes two of us. After lunch, Rena went to the backyard. The grass needed trimming. The garden she once cared for was dry, but the soil was still good. That mattered. She knelt in the dirt, pulling weeds, resetting flower beds. Arden came out, stood at the door. You don't have to do that. I know. I could do it. You could have done a lot of things. He stayed quiet. She pressed her fingers into the soil. I remember telling you about this garden when we moved in, she said. You said it would be my space. It still can be. No, Arden, nothing's still. That's the problem. You thought everything would stay while you stepped out. You forgot things grow, even without you. That evening, while the kids were watching a movie upstairs, Rena and Arden found themselves in the kitchen again. Quiet, close, but not together. He spoke first. Why didn't you leave sooner? She leaned against the fridge, arms folded. Because I wanted to believe it could be fixed. That marriage meant staying. That loyalty meant love. And now I know staying too long in the wrong story turns strength into self-destruction. He sighed. Do you still love me? Rena didn't answer immediately. She stared at the floor. Then finally, I love the man I thought you were. And I love the woman I became to survive what you weren't. He flinched. The doorbell rang. A courier. Rena signed a delivery slip. It was a small package from her sister, a framed quote and a card. The quote read, "Some women fear the fire, others become it." She held the frame in her hands. Arden saw it, said nothing. She hung it in the hallway that night, right outside the guest room door. By Sunday afternoon, her mind was made up. She emailed her lawyer again, finalized the timeline. He's aware. I've confirmed my new housing. Move forward. The reply came within the hour, acknowledged. I'll proceed with formal notification. After dinner, Rena sat with the kids. She held both their hands. There's going to be a small change soon, she began. Mommy will be moving to a different house. The kids looked confused. Will Daddy come? Her son asked. No, sweetheart. He'll stay here for a while. But you'll visit him and he'll visit you. Her daughter looked down. Are you and Daddy mad? Rena smiled gently. We're not mad. We're learning to be better parents by being better people on our own. Tears welled in their eyes. She pulled them into her arms. I will never stop showing up for you, she whispered. Arden watched from the hallway. He didn't interrupt. He didn't deserve to. Later that night, she walked into the living room where he sat. I told them, she said. He nodded. How did they take it? They're kids. They'll be okay if we're okay. He stood slowly. And us? There is no us anymore. She paused at the stairs, turned back. 3 weeks ago, I thought your betrayal was the end of me. It wasn't. No, it was the beginning. The key turned in the lock with a soft click. The apartment door creaked open to clean air, light wood floors, and white walls untouched by memory. Rena stepped in slowly, her heels echoing softly in the silence. The space was small, but new. A third-floor walk-up, 2 bedrooms, balcony with a view of the park across the street. She set the box in her arms down on the floor and closed the door behind her. No shadows followed, no ghosts lingered. She was alone, and it felt like breathing for the first time in months. That morning, she had handed the movers the last of the labeled boxes. Arden stood in the doorway, not speaking, just watching, holding their son's favorite toy and a manila envelope he hadn't yet opened. Everything's in there, she told him. Schedules, notes, school contacts, pediatrician, allergy sheets, the works. He nodded slowly. You thought of everything. I had to, she replied. I I didn't have the luxury of hoping someone else would do it. He opened his mouth, but didn't speak, and she didn't wait. She climbed into the car, rolled the window down halfway, looked at the house, once home, now history. "You should fix the leak in the kids' bathroom," she said. Then she drove away. By afternoon, the new apartment was half unpacked. She left the dishes for later. The towels were folded. Her work corner was set. The kids' room, complete with their favorite bedding and beanbags, was nearly done. She hung one picture frame above the sofa. Just one. A photo of her and the kids at the pumpkin patch last fall. No Arden, no shadows. Just her and her babies, in matching jackets, laughing at something only they understood. At 6 p.m. she opened a bottle of water, sat on the floor, and called her sister. "I'm in," she said simply. "And?" her sister asked. "It's quiet and clean, and I'm not afraid of the silence." "Good," her sister replied. "You earned this." They hung up after 10 minutes. No need for long words. Some days were too simple to complicate. That night, after the kids had returned from their weekend with Arden, they explored the new apartment like it was a maze. "There's no TV in your room," her son said. "I know," Rena smiled. "We're going to talk more and read." Her daughter opened a drawer. "You organized the socks," Rena winked. "Priorities." They made sandwiches and sat cross-legged on the living room floor. No furniture yet, just each other. Later, after bedtime stories, Rena sat by the window with her laptop. Emails, project updates, invoices. Then, a message from Daria. "Great work this week. Your team's lucky to have you. Keep going." She closed her laptop and leaned back, looked up at the ceiling. No guilt sat on her chest. No weight pressed into her ribs. She was tired, but not broken. She had left before bitterness rooted too deep. Meanwhile, at the old house, Arden sat in the quiet. No toys in the hallway. No sound of tiny feet. No perfume in the air. Just empty walls and a bowl of leftovers on the counter. He scrolled through his phone. Pictures of Rena. Family holidays, beach days, random Sundays. He stared at one from 3 years ago. Rena holding a clipboard at a school fundraiser. Ponytail high, hands busy, eyes clear. She wasn't smiling at the camera. She was working, focused, committed. He remembered teasing her that day. "You organize like we're running a White House briefing." She'd replied, "Maybe I am. This is their childhood. It matters." He closed the app, because looking at the past didn't fix the present. Back in her apartment, Rena finished folding laundry while music played quietly from her speaker. A soft instrumental, no lyrics. She didn't need someone else's voice guiding her mood. She was building her own now. The clock ticked past midnight. She didn't feel lonely. She felt settled, and that was better. The next morning, she woke up early. Coffee, quiet prayer, a short journal entry. Day 1 in the new place. No noise, no weight, no lies. Just breath and windows that don't look like regret. She walked to the mirror, pulled her curls into a bun, dressed in a white blouse and slate-grey trousers. The woman in the reflection didn't look like a victim. She looked like the one who left before she drowned. At work, the team gathered in a morning huddle. Rena briefed them on a tight deadline. She delegated, aligned, and asked the right questions. She stayed calm when others didn't. When the meeting ended, a junior designer leaned in and whispered, "You're good at this." Rena smiled. "I was always good. I just stopped proving it." At lunch, she sat in the courtyard, answering emails. An older colleague passed by, saw her alone, and asked, "No table of friends today?" "I don't need noise to eat," she replied with a smirk. The colleague laughed. "I like you," Rena nodded. "I like me too." That evening, she picked up the kids. They shared their day, laughed about a spilled juice box, argued over who would carry the library books. They didn't ask about the old house, and she didn't bring it up, because they were adjusting faster than she thought, because children often follow peace when they can feel it in the air. At bedtime, her daughter whispered, "Mom, I like it here. I'm glad," Rena said softly. "It feels warm. That's because it's filled with honesty." The following weekend, Rena stood in line at the hardware store with paint samples, a curtain rod, and a stack of command hooks. Nothing extravagant, just enough to claim her space. As she stepped out, she heard her name. "Rena?" She turned. It was Dean Sorrell, an old client from her early years at the firm. Graying at the temples now, but still sharp-eyed and warm-voiced. "Dean," she greeted, surprised. "It's been years. You look focused," he said, smiling. "I am. What are you up to these days?" "I'm back at the firm," she replied. His brow lifted. "They let you go?" "I let myself go. Then I came back." He laughed. "I always said you were one of the smartest project managers I'd worked with." "I still am," she said plainly. He tilted his head. "You're different now." "I know. I like her more." They exchanged contact info, and as she walked away, Rena thought, that's what recovery looks like. Being recognized by people who once saw your potential before you buried it in someone else's comfort. At home, she painted the kids' room first. Ocean blue for her son, lavender lilac for her daughter. They helped, got more paint on themselves than the wall. But they laughed through it. That sound, their laughter, in her space, in her home, was the softest kind of triumph. That night, she hung her first curtain. It wasn't even, it wobbled. She fixed it, alone, and smiled. Back at the old house, Arden walked into his bedroom. Half the closet was still untouched. Rena hadn't taken everything, just the essentials, but the space she left behind was heavier than the space she moved into. The master bathroom still smelled like her lavender soap. He reached for it out of habit, then stopped. It wasn't his anymore. He sat on the bed, opened the manila envelope she'd left him. Inside were instructions for Keo parenting. Clear, fair, firm. A note clipped to the front in her handwriting. "We may not be together, but we are still accountable. For them." He read the line 3 times. Accountable. That word hit harder than forgiveness. On Sunday, Rena dropped the kids off early at the house. She didn't go in, just unbuckled them, kissed their cheeks, and stood tall as they ran up the driveway. Arden opened the door, looked at her from a distance. She gave a short wave, then turned to go. "Wait," he said, stepping out. "You look independent," she offered. He smiled faintly. "Beautiful," she nodded. "I know," and walked away. That afternoon, Rena attended her first professional networking event since the separation. She wore wide-leg pants, a burnt orange blouse, and a no-nonsense expression. She didn't fidget, didn't check her phone, didn't text updates to someone waiting at home. She was the person she used to text about. She met Daria by the drinks table. "How are things?" Daria asked. "Clean," Rena replied. "My apartment, my mind, my inbox. You're glowing." "No, I'm grounded," Daria smiled. "Same thing, honestly." The next project Rena led at the firm landed them a feature in a local design magazine. Her photo, just her, stood beside the headline, "Returning with Power, the Woman." Behind the firm's boldest build yet, when Arden saw it online, he didn't call. He didn't message. He just stared at the screen for a long, long time. Meanwhile, Naomi had gone quiet. No more emails. No more calls. Just silence. Arden had learned the truth, but it hadn't brought Rena back. And now, the woman who once held his world together didn't even acknowledge his presence. That silence, it wasn't cold, it was righteous. 1 week later, during pickup, Rena handed Arden a document. "What's this?" he asked. "A property deed transfer. I'm giving up rights to the house. Keep it." He blinked. "Why?" "Because I want nothing built on betrayal. I'm building forward, not clinging to history." He looked at her. "Do you hate me?" "No," she said gently. "You're just no longer my concern." That night, in her journal, she wrote, "I didn't burn his house down. I just lit my own doorway and walked through it. Have you ever outgrown the version of yourself who tolerated less than you deserved? If you've ever rebuilt your life piece by piece after someone broke the foundation, drop a comment below. Your story might be the encouragement someone else needs tonight. And if Rena's journey reminds you of your strength, don't forget to share your thoughts, subscribe for more stories that speak to the quiet power of choosing yourself. Because at Mr. Charles Stories, we don't just tell stories, we honor every rise after the fall. The new project came in on a Wednesday. It was high profile, a tech startup's headquarters, sleek lines, modern green spaces, a rooftop terrace with a retractable skylight, and Rena had been asked to lead it. Daria handed her the brief in a sealed folder. We've had eyes on this for 2 quarters. The client asked specifically for you after reading the magazine feature. Rena blinked. Me, Daria smiled. Your work speaks. They listened. That afternoon, Rena sat in a quiet conference room, fingers running lightly along the edge of the portfolio. 10 years ago, she wouldn't have imagined this. Because 10 years ago, she'd given everything, focus, energy, her sense of self, to a home where she was last on the list. But now, she was first, not in arrogance, in awareness. She opened the project file, timelines, renderings, budget specs. Her mind moved fast, drawing up timelines, assembling task leads, setting deliverables. This was her terrain, her clarity. That evening, the kids were with Arden. The apartment was quiet. She reheated soup, opened a bottle of lemon water, and settled by the window with her laptop to review client notes. A message popped up. Lyle, still up for pottery tomorrow? She smiled. They had met in the Tuesday night class. Quiet, steady, easy smile, clean humor. No questions about the past unless she offered it. They shared silence like old friends, sat across from each other shaping clay, and sometimes not speaking for 20 minutes. It wasn't romantic, not yet, but it was safe. Rena replied, absolutely, same time. At the studio the next evening, Lyle handed her a wooden tool she'd forgotten last week. You always leave something behind when you're focused, he said. Or maybe I just like returning, she teased. He smirked. Or maybe you're just human. That's allowed, you know. She nodded slowly. I'm still learning that. Their class assignment that week was to create a matched pair, 2 pieces that belonged together but weren't identical. Rena shaped a bowl, then a second one, slightly smaller. Lyle made a cup and a plate. Clean, crisp edges. They worked quietly, the wheels spinning softly beneath them. Eventually, Lyle spoke again. You seem more settled than last month. I am, Rena said, smoothing clay between her fingers. I moved. I let go of what needed to be let go. He nodded. Was it hard? Yes, but not as hard as staying. Back at the apartment, Rena placed her 2 bowls on the kitchen shelf. Uneven, but full of intention. She didn't need perfection anymore. She needed presence. Saturday came. Arden brought the kids by noon. They ran in shouting about soccer practice and spelling bees. Rena welcomed them, passed out snacks, and asked for their week's highs and lows. Arden lingered at the door. He noticed the bowls on the shelf. New? He asked. Yes. You've been making these? Yes. They're good. They're mine. She didn't say it harshly, but she didn't need to. He cleared his throat. I read the article, the feature. You looked strong. I am. He glanced at the kids in the living room, then back at her. You're not coming back, are you? She shook her head. There's nothing to return to, just wreckage I already swept up. That night, after the kids were in bed, she opened her journal. She wrote, success is not revenge, but it is proof. And sometimes it's the clearest apology you never needed to hear. At work, the project advanced fast. Her team respected her. The client trusted her. Deadlines were met. Ideas flowed. Even on tough days, she didn't shrink. One afternoon, while reviewing a new design, a junior staffer leaned over and said, "You make it look effortless." Rena replied, "Because I learned how to hold things without dropping myself." Friday night, she and Lyle walked out of class together. He didn't ask her to dinner. She didn't expect him to. But he did say, "You're easier to be around than most people I've met." She smiled. "I stopped performing. Makes things simpler." "Then don't stop." She nodded. "I won't." Back home, she tucked the kids in and leaned against the doorway. They were safe. She was safe. Her space was hers. The following week, the design presentation took place in a sleek, high-rise conference room. The startup's leadership team lined one side of the table. Rena stood at the front, calm and sharp in a fitted black blazer, her hair pulled back, her voice steady. She presented phase timelines, integration touchpoints, space planning, and sustainability benchmarks without a single pause. Every question thrown her way was answered with precision, not because she rehearsed, but because she understood her craft and she respected her growth. At the end of the meeting, one of the executives leaned back in his chair and said, "You run a room better than most men I've seen." Rena smiled, not flattered, just ready. "I don't run the room. I own my lane." He grinned. "That's even better." Later, Daria pulled her aside. "Don't let anyone dim what they're now applauding." "I'm not here for applause," Rena replied. Daria looked at her. "What are you here for?" Rena glanced out the window at the city skyline. Proof and peace, both in full. That night, she stopped by a local bookstore before heading home. She picked up a small hardcover titled, "Things You Leave Behind to Become Her." The woman at the register smiled. "You'll like that one." Rena nodded. "I already do." When she arrived at the apartment, the kids were building a fort with blankets and chair legs. "Mama!" they called out in sync. She set her bag down, took off her heels, and stepped inside their chaotic dome of imagination. "Password, please," her daughter said. Rena whispered, "I choose myself." They erupted in giggles and let her in. After they fell asleep, she made tea and sat by the window. Lyle texted, "Lyle, I'm making lopsided mugs again. Want to laugh at my disaster?" Rena, "Only if I can bring matching ones next week." Lyle, "Deal. I'll make you dinner after class." She paused, then typed, "Okay." Across town, Arden sat alone in the kitchen. Half a plate of food pushed to the side. Lights dimmed, silence thick. He stared at the wall, phone in hand, her photo pulled up. One from years ago. She had her eyes closed and head tilted back mid-laughter. It was his favorite. He used to think it was because she looked beautiful. Now, he realized it was because she looked free, something he hadn't helped preserve. The next morning, Rena woke early, wrote one line in her journal. "I am no longer surviving what happened. I am living what's next." On Saturday, while the kids visited Arden, Rena visited the firm's site project downtown. She walked through the skeletal beams and rising framework. Her design was coming to life. Slowly, loudly, confidently. She stepped up to the scaffolding, hard hat on, clipboard steady, and gave her final notes to the team. As she walked away, a young female intern followed her. "Can I ask something personal?" Rena nodded. "Do you ever get scared?" "Every time I say no to something that doesn't honor me," Rena replied. "But the fear goes away faster than regret." The intern smiled. "I want to be like you one day." Rena turned, her voice soft but clear. "Then never choose comfort over your voice." That night, Lyle came over. He brought pasta and awkward humor. They ate at her kitchen table. No music, just stories. He didn't ask about Arden, or the divorce, or what went wrong. He asked, "What do you love about clay?" Rena thought for a second. It forgives the mess, but it remembers the pressure. After dinner, he helped her wash the dishes. He didn't try to kiss her. He didn't linger too long. As he stepped to the door, he looked back once. "You're easy to sit with," he said, "because I've stopped shrinking to make space for people who never filled the room." He smiled. "That's a good answer. It's a lived one." He left. She stood by the door a little longer, letting the silence wrap around her like peace, not emptiness. She walked to her desk, opened her email, and saw a message from the editorial board of the design magazine. Subject: would you be open to writing a personal column? She smiled and replied, only if I get to write it as I am now, not who I was. Tuesday evening smelled like clay and possibility. Rena arrived at the pottery studio 10 minutes early. She liked settling into the quiet before class, the calm before conversation. Her hands were already familiar with the rhythm. Her spirit welcomed the stillness. Lyle arrived not long after. He walked over, holding 2 brown paper bags. One has dinner, the other has disaster. She grinned. And which one's which? He raised an eyebrow. Let's find out. They set up side by side. Rena unwrapped 2 freshly fired mugs she'd finished last week, one with a small chip on the handle, the other perfectly smooth. Lyle examined them. Yours always looked like they were made by someone with control. And yours? She asked. He held up his latest creation, an off-centered bowl with a comically lopsided lip. Mine looked like they're having an emotional crisis. They both laughed. The instructor gave them their task for the night. Make something without using the wheel. No spin, no speed, just hands and instinct. Rena felt a slight panic at first. She was used to pace, to plans. But tonight, she let her fingers move freely. No sketches, no perfectionism, just touch and trust. She began forming a flat dish, pressing her palms into the clay gently, letting it rise on its own. Lyle watched her for a while. You know, he said quietly, I didn't think I'd like these classes. She glanced over. Why did you come then? My sister. She signed me up after my divorce. Rena paused, but didn't flinch. Ah, so we're both rebuilding. He nodded. I guess clay's cheaper than therapy. She smirked. And just as revealing, they worked in silence after that, but it was a companionable quiet, like music without lyrics. By the end of class, Rena's piece was shaped like a leaf, uneven but graceful. Lyle's looked like a mushroom, and a bowl had a disagreement. He held it up proudly. Abstract. She chuckled, confused. Outside the studio, they stood under soft streetlight. I meant to ask, he said. Do you do anything outside of managing people and making perfect bowls? Rena tilted her head. Define anything. Dinner, drinks, sitting somewhere that doesn't involve clay or spreadsheets. She paused, then answered simply, maybe. He smiled. Maybe's better than no. Later that night, back at her apartment, the kids were fast asleep. Rena tiptoed into her room, pulled her journal from under the pillow, and wrote, There's something safe about someone who doesn't want to fix your past, only hold space in your present. She closed the book, turned off the lamp, and for the first time in months, fell asleep without the ache of old conversations replaying in her mind. 3 days later, she met Lyle for coffee. It was casual, bright place, no pressure. He wore a navy jacket and jeans. She wore a white shirt, hair in a loose twist. They talked about nothing at first. Coffee beans, local bakeries, a mutual dislike of bad drivers. Then, more. I used to think being chosen was everything, Rena said, stirring her drink. Now I know choosing myself was what I really needed. Lyle nodded. I used to choose people who liked the idea of me, but not the work it took to know me. She looked at him. Do you think you're easier now? No, he replied, but I'm clearer. They smiled. It wasn't fireworks. It wasn't a rush, but it was real. Back at work, Rena finalized her team's second phase plans for the tech build. The client requested her personally for the next on-site tour. As she clicked through spreadsheets and elevation diagrams, Daria poked her head in. You're glowing again. Rena didn't look up. I drank water and minded my business. Lies, Daria said. You're smiling like someone asked you out. Rena gave a smirk. Someone did. Daria raised a brow. And I didn't run. That weekend, she took the kids to the park. They ran through the grass, climbed monkey bars, begged for popsicles. Arden arrived 10 minutes early for pickup. He looked around, hesitant. She saw him, walked over slowly. You look happy, he said. I am. He glanced at the kids. They seem settled. They are. Kids adjust when peace is consistent. He nodded. I saw your name in another article last night, he added. She blinked. Which one? The one about leadership design for wellness spaces. Your quote was sharp. Rena shrugged. It was lived. He stood quiet for a moment, then asked the question he never dared ask before. Do you think I ever really knew you? She answered without delay. No, you knew the version of me that tolerated too much. That Sunday afternoon, Rena sat cross-legged on the floor, helping her daughter arrange art supplies into a rainbow bin. Markers in one row, colored pencils in another, stickers stacked by shape. Everything has a place, her daughter said proudly. Rena smiled. Exactly. That phrase echoed in her chest longer than expected, because for the first time in a long time, she had a place too. And it wasn't beside someone who asked her to shrink. The following Tuesday, Lyle showed up to class with 2 wrapped bowls and a nervous look in his eyes. Okay, he said, placing them on the table. I made these at home. Rena raised a brow. Without supervision? Bold. I know. She unwrapped the bowls. One was glazed in deep green, the other speckled cream. They weren't perfect, but they were thoughtful. I made one for you, he said. She looked up, eyes warm. Which one? He grinned. You choose. After class, they walked a few blocks down to a small bistro with string lights and outdoor seating. They didn't call it a date, but it felt like one. Conversation flowed easily, until a question slipped out. What scared you most about starting over? Lyle asked. Rena took a moment. Not losing him, losing me. He nodded. And did you? No, she said. But I had to fight for her. At the table next to them, a couple argued quietly. Not shouting, just passive jabs and cold silences. Rena didn't flinch, didn't tense. Lyle noticed. You're not triggered? No, she said. I recognize that version of myself. But I don't live there anymore. He paid the bill. They walked in silence for a few minutes. Then, standing under a soft streetlight, he turned toward her. I like being around you. Rena met his eyes. Because I'm calm? No. Because you don't perform. She held his gaze. That's new for me. I hope you keep it. A pause. I hope I earn it. She didn't kiss him. She didn't promise anything. She simply said, we'll see, and meant it. That night, she came home to quiet. She walked past the kids' room, checked on their sleeping faces, and then stood in front of the mirror brushing her hair out slowly. She didn't feel rushed. Didn't feel like time was running out. She felt present. She opened her journal and wrote, he didn't rescue me. He didn't replace anyone. He just reminded me that safe people don't ask you to disappear in pieces. The next morning, she dropped the kids at school and headed to the downtown site for a walkthrough. Her design was rising. Concrete and steel shaped exactly as she planned. The project manager handed her a clipboard. This part's ahead of schedule. That's your team. Rena nodded, taking in the scaffolding, the blueprint markers, the sound of drills in the distance. She wasn't impressed by her own success. She was grounded in it, because she had paid for every inch of it, with patience, discipline, and pain no one else saw. That night, she and Lyle didn't talk. Not because anything was wrong, but because they didn't need to fill every space. He sent a photo of a failed teacup. She replied with a meme about crooked handles. That was enough. Arden called the next morning. She hesitated, then picked up. Hey, a pause. I wanted to ask something, he said. The kids mentioned a man named Lyle. She kept her voice calm. Yes. He's in my pottery class. He's a friend. Are you seeing him? I'm learning him, she answered, which is more than you ever tried to do with me. Arden sighed. I'm not trying to be difficult. It's just new. No, Rena said softly. I'm new. And you're realizing you never met me. Silence. Take care, Arden. And she ended the call. That evening, her daughter asked for a story. Not from a book, she said. A real one. From your life. Rena thought for a second, then told her about a woman who stayed too long in a burning house. But one day, she walked out with smoke in her lungs and still built a new one from scratch. Did the woman ever get her voice back? Her daughter whispered. Rena kissed her forehead. She never lost it. She just stopped whispering. Arden sat in his car for a long time before going inside. The house was quiet now. Too quiet. The kids weren't there. Rena hadn't stepped inside in weeks. Even the furniture felt like it was waiting for someone who no longer cared to return. He walked past the kitchen and into the living room. He didn't turn on the lights. He sat in the dark with the sound of his own breath, his thoughts louder than the silence. He picked up his phone, scrolled past old photos again. Her laughter, the kids wrapped around her legs, the pottery bowl she made, the one she took with her. Everything in the house still looked intact, but everything inside it was gone. Earlier that day, a mutual acquaintance had pulled him aside at the coffee shop. Rena's doing incredible work at the firm, the man said. She's the lead on the downtown project, right? Arden forced a smile. Yes, she's always had that in her. Shame she was away so long. He didn't respond, because he had no excuse that wouldn't sound hollow. That night, Arden looked through a drawer and pulled out the envelope she'd left when she moved out. The parenting agreement, custody calendar, school pickup rotation, emergency contacts, every page signed, every plan complete. No drama, no vengeance, just boundaries. She had handled the breakdown of their marriage with more grace than he deserved. The next morning, during school drop-off, his son asked from the back seat, "Why does Mom have her own house now?" Arden hesitated. "Because we made a mistake, and now we're fixing it by making sure both homes are peaceful." "Did you stop loving each other?" the boy asked. Arden swallowed. "I think we stopped showing it the right way." His daughter chimed in. "But Mommy still loves us a lot." "She always will," Arden said. "That's one thing that'll never change." After the drop-off, Arden drove to the office, but parked 3 blocks away. He needed the walk. Every street corner reminded him of a version of his life he once took for granted. He remembered when he and Rena had celebrated his promotion at that sushi spot across the street. She wore red. He couldn't stop staring at her. He remembered how she smiled the whole time. How she talked about putting her own dreams on hold for just a while longer. That was 4 years ago. In the office, he sat through meetings and tried to listen, but his mind kept drifting. Naomi had vanished since her deception was exposed. No apologies, no attempts to repair, and still, he missed none of it. Because what he thought he wanted had only been noise. What he lost was silence, the good kind, the kind filled with trust and home. Later that afternoon, a courier delivered a package to his desk. Inside was a child's drawing, from his daughter, a clay bowl with 3 little stick people smiling inside it. Her note in crooked letters, "Mommy said not all broken things stay broken, some become art." Arden stared at the page for several minutes, then quietly placed it inside his drawer. That evening, Rena stood in her kitchen preparing grilled cheese sandwiches, while the kids set up a game on the living room floor. Lyle had sent her a voice note earlier, made the best-looking plate of pasta, and forgot to photograph it. "Do I even exist now?" She had laughed softly, not because it was funny, but because it was simple, because nothing about Lyle asked her to perform or explain. He just showed up. After dinner, the kids begged for one more story. She told them about a woman who built her life like clay, slowly, with pressure, with intention. They fell asleep before the ending, but she already knew how it would finish. Later that night, she texted Lyle, "You exist, even if the pasta didn't." He replied, "You laughed. That's proof enough." She looked at her screen for a long moment, then wrote, "Would you like to come over this weekend?" There was a pause. Then, yes. Arden, meanwhile, sat in his living room with the lights off again. He could feel the shift happening all around him. The woman he betrayed had transformed, and she had done it without waiting for his apology. That, he realized, was the truest form of closure. when the one you hurt no longer needs you to make sense of what you ruined. Saturday arrived with calm weather and a quiet kind of anticipation. Rena stood at the mirror, adjusting the delicate neckline of her soft green dress. It wasn't formal, just honest. Just her. Hair pinned loosely, skin clean and moisturized, the scent of lavender oil on her wrist. She wasn't nervous. She was ready. She had invited Lyle over not because she was lonely, but because she was open to something healthy, quiet, steady. The doorbell rang at exactly 5 p.m. Lyle stood there, holding a small pot of basil. Flowers felt too formal. This felt more alive. Rena smiled. It's perfect. He stepped inside, eyes scanning the space. It smells like you've got something in the oven. I do. Chicken and rosemary. He grinned. Tell me I get to help. Dinner wasn't complicated, but it felt like more than food. They talked while chopping and stirring. He asked about her kids. She asked about his garden. He didn't fill every silence. She didn't shrink from the ones that came. After the kids came home from their time with Arden, they tiptoed into the apartment like they weren't sure what to expect. They saw Lyle at the kitchen counter, mixing lemonade with too much sugar and not enough water. He looked up and said, "Need official taste testers." The kids ran in. No awkward introductions, no strange tension, just acceptance. Rena watched it unfold, quietly grateful. Because real connection doesn't need rehearsal. After dinner, Lyle helped clean up, then sat with Rena on the balcony while the kids watched a movie inside. I don't know how you do it, he said, sipping tea. Do what? Balance your strength with softness. Most people lean hard one way. Rena looked out at the city lights. Because I had to break to realize I didn't need to. He nodded slowly. I'm still learning how to trust that. She turned to him. Then take your time. There's no prize for healing fast. He didn't try to kiss her. She didn't wait for it, either. They simply sat, legs crossed, shoulder to shoulder. Two people building something slow and real. Back at Arden's house, the quiet clawed at him. Not just the silence of the kids, but the silence from Rena. He thought about calling her. Thought about asking how the children were settling in again. But he knew what that call would be. It would be for him, to soothe his guilt. And she wasn't responsible for that anymore. Instead, he opened a blank document and wrote, not a letter, not a plea, just a list of things he never told her when she needed to hear them. 1. I noticed when you were tired, but I didn't step in. 2. I saw how you handled everything and convinced myself you didn't need support. 3. I liked being praised for being the good guy while you carried the invisible load. 4. I mistook your silence for agreement. 5. I never imagined you'd leave because I never considered you'd stop choosing me. He saved the file. Didn't send it. Because some apologies are only useful when they change behavior, and his couldn't change the past. Sunday morning, Rena made pancakes while the kids argued about toppings, blueberries or chocolate chips. She let them do both. While they ate, she played jazz from the small speaker in the corner. The sun flooded the apartment through the large window she always kept open. Later, she pulled out her sketch pad. It wasn't for work, just doodles, concepts, color testing. Her daughter peeked over her shoulder. Are you making buildings again? No, Rena smiled. I'm making dreams. That afternoon, Arden stopped by for pickup. The kids hugged Rena tightly, kissed her cheeks and ran off to his car. He lingered by the door. You seem lighter. I am, she said. He looked down. You're seeing someone? She didn't answer the question directly. I'm choosing peace. And him? I'm choosing me. He exhaled. You don't miss it? Us? She looked at him, eyes soft but unflinching. I miss who I was with you, before I realized I deserved more. And with that, she closed the door. That evening, Lyle texted. Lyle, still thinking about the basil. Might turn it into a plant army. Rena, as long as it doesn't take over my kitchen. Lyle, deal. But I get naming rights. Rena, Only if I get to pick the first one. She looked at the screen, smiled, and powered her phone off. Some connections don't need constant tending. Some things grow even in quiet. She opened her journal and wrote, "He doesn't need to save me. I'm already free, but it's good to know someone kind still walks beside me." The court date arrived quietly. No media, no dramatic public statements, just a beige courthouse on a grey morning, and two people who once promised forever, now sitting on opposite sides of a room. Rena wore navy blue, simple, clean, confident. She didn't show nerves, but not because she wasn't feeling them. She just knew where her center was now, and it wasn't dependent on Arden's gaze. He looked older, not tired, not ragged, just humbled. There was a stillness to him she hadn't seen before. Whether it was shame or clarity, she didn't care to define. The judge flipped through documents, custody, finances, visitation schedules. Everything Rena had prepared was detailed and fair. Arden's legal team didn't contest much. There wasn't much to contest. Rena had never once denied Arden his right to see his children. She hadn't asked for excessive support. She'd only asked for what was right. At one point, the judge looked at both of them and said, "This is one of the rare cases where maturity wins. Let's keep it that way." Outside the courthouse, the cold air hit hard. Arden followed a few paces behind. "Rena," he said, quiet. She stopped, turned slightly, didn't step closer. He held a small envelope. "What's this?" "Something I should have said a long time ago. In writing, because I know my voice has said enough wrong things." She took it without opening it. "Are you hoping for something, Arden?" "No," he answered. "Not anymore." "Then why give this to me now?" "Because I needed to know I'd at least tried to make peace before everything was final." She nodded. That she could understand. Back home, she didn't open the letter right away. She made tea first, tucked the kids into their after-school routines, answered a work call, fed the cat. Then finally, she sat at the edge of her bed, turned on the lamp, and read Arden's letter. "Rena, I won't ask you to forgive me. That would be another selfish request. I know I broke what I didn't know how to protect. You didn't need saving. You needed a partner. I didn't understand the difference until it was too late. I lied to protect my fantasy, not our reality. You asked for honesty. I gave you silence. You asked for consistency. I gave you routine. You gave me love, and I gave you performance. When I told you Blair was pregnant, I thought I was being brave. I thought I was choosing what felt new and exciting. But all I really did was reveal who I had become. A man who mistook chaos for truth. Watching you walk away was not the moment I lost you. I lost you the day I stopped listening. And if our children inherit anything from me, I hope it's not my pride. If they inherit from you, I pray it's your grace, your discipline, your clarity. Thank you for still being their mother when you had every reason to disappear. I know you've moved forward. This letter is not a request to return. It's my way of standing still long enough to finally say, you deserved better. And now, so do I. Arden. She didn't cry. She didn't smile. She folded the letter and placed it in her drawer. Because sometimes closure is not a door slamming. It's a page being turned quietly. 2 days later, she walked into a studio space in the arts district. High ceilings, exposed brick, big windows, cheap rent. She signed the lease. It would be her first independent project. No partnerships, no borrowed brand names. Just Rena and her vision. She named the space North Studio, after the direction she promised to. Always follow, even when everything else tried to pull her sideways. That weekend, Lyle helped her move in boxes. Paint cans, folded tables, office chairs. He didn't ask what her plans were. He waited until she was ready to share. I'm going to launch a mentorship program for design students. Kids who don't have connections or big names to fall back on. He smiled. That's bold. It's necessary. You're not doing this to prove anything? No. I'm doing this because it's time to build, not just rebuild. They set up the space late into the evening, painted one of the walls a warm charcoal grey, drank coffee from paper cups, talked about how healing isn't linear, but it is intentional. At one point, Lyle looked at her and said, "You know what I admire most?" She raised a brow. "My color choices?" He laughed. "Yes. But also your refusal to harden." She let that sit, then replied, "The world tried, but I fought back with softness." That night, back home, she tucked the kids in and sat at the kitchen table, filling out paperwork for a grant. They needed funds to offer free design workshops. Her phone buzzed. It was an email from a former professor she had once interned under. Subject: Mentorship Partnership Proposal. She read the body of the message, and her heart skipped. He had heard about North Studio through a student. He wanted to support. Sometimes the message ended, "Our real reputation doesn't come from titles. It comes from how people feel after working with us." She replied with one line, "I'm ready. Let's talk," then closed her laptop and turned out the light. By the time February arrived, North Studio had hosted its first community event. 15 young artists gathered inside Rena's space, each one carrying more dreams than connections, more vision than access. That was exactly the point. Rena stood at the front of the room. No slides, no rehearsed speeches, just presence. She started simply, "I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to invest in you." And something shifted. In that space, she wasn't the woman who got left. She was the woman who led. Meanwhile, Arden sat in his new apartment 3 blocks from the office. He wasn't dating anyone. Blair had disappeared after her outburst at the hotel. The pregnancy, a lie. A performance meant to corner him into choosing chaos. But she didn't expect Arden to unravel everything after that. Didn't expect him to file a report on her harassment, to call off the affair, to leave the condo. Didn't expect him to finally grow up. The company had given him 6 weeks to reassess his standing. They didn't fire him. They just stopped giving him the illusion that he was untouchable. He took the time, he cut expenses, started therapy, called his brother to apologize for the birthday he missed 2 years ago. He didn't post about it. He didn't tweet through it. He lived it, one quiet day at a time. At night, he sometimes found himself scrolling through North Studio's Instagram. Rena had launched it with the help of a mentee. Photos of sketches, smiles, stories in the captions. No bitterness, no jabs, just movement. In every post, he could see what he never made space for in their marriage, her depth. She wasn't doing well to make a point. She was thriving because she stopped waiting for him to become her home. One morning, Arden stood outside the studio. He didn't go in, just looked through the glass from across the street. Rena was showing a student how to shade a portrait using light reflection. She laughed at something he said. Her shoulders were relaxed. Her voice carried, even across the pavement. Arden whispered to himself, "You're better without me. You always were." Then he turned and walked away, not out of regret, but out of finally understanding that leaving wasn't the betrayal. Staying silent was. That weekend, Rena hosted a small dinner for her team. Lyle brought homemade sourdough. Nara brought wine. Maya, her newly promoted assistant, created place cards with everyone's name in metallic ink. They sat under string lights in Rena's backyard, near the lemon tree she once thought about uprooting. Now it bloomed, like her. During dessert, Maya asked, "Do you ever miss who you used to be?" Rena thought for a moment. Sometimes. But not enough to go back. "Do you forgive Arden?" Another pause. "I forgive myself first, for staying silent longer than I should have. For thinking love had to hurt before it could heal." Lyle glanced up. Their eyes met. There was a softness there, not the kind that begged, the kind that waited without pressure. She gave him a small smile, then looked back at Maya. "Forgiveness is not an open door," she said. "It's a closed one. I no longer keep checking." That night, after the guests left and the lights were unplugged, Rena walked through her quiet home. She checked on the kids, adjusted a blanket, kissed a forehead. Then she went to her room, slipped on an old hoodie, and sat on the floor with her journal. She flipped back through the pages, Months of entries, some pages full of fury, others full of prayers. One line stood out, underlined from weeks ago. I am not what he left. I am what I became after. She closed the book. No tears, no drama. 3 weeks after the divorce finalized, Rena got a letter in the mail. It was from Blair, typed, cold. The letter apologized for the lies, the manipulation, the night of the fake pregnancy reveal. But it also admitted envy of Rena's presence, her calm, her restraint. I thought stealing your husband would give me your power, Blair wrote. I didn't realize your power came from never needing to prove yourself to anyone. Rena folded the letter once, then burned it in the fireplace. Some apologies are just echoes, and she had no interest in being haunted. Spring arrived, with soft breezes. North Studio held its second major showcase. 50 guests, 9 mentees, 12 full scholarships raised, 1 feature in a local magazine. Rena stood in front of the crowd with a glass in her hand. This space was built from broken things, she began. But not everything broken needs to be thrown away. Some things need to be rearranged into something new, something honest. The applause felt full, but her silence afterward felt fuller, because silence now came from peace, not pain. Later that night, she sat on the rooftop of the building. Lyle joined her with 2 mugs of tea. They didn't talk much, didn't need to. Eventually he asked, "What would you have done differently?" She sipped her drink and said, "I would have loved myself louder, so no one else could have ever mistaken my silence for approval." He nodded, then reached into his pocket, pulled out a small, wrapped box. She opened it. A ring, not flashy, not heavy, just delicate and gold, with a simple engraving inside, North always. She didn't cry, she didn't run. She held it to her heart and whispered, "Thank you," because revenge wasn't in watching Arden fall. It was in rising so far, he couldn't even see her anymore. 3 months after the studio's showcase, the city council reached out. They had read about North Studio in the Chronicle, seen the photo of Rena shaking hands with donors, and heard whispers from local schools. They wanted a partnership. Rena sat in a leather chair across from the arts commissioner, listening. As he said words she once thought only belonged to others. "Your work reflects the kind of investment this city needs." She smiled, calm but steady. "I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to invest in them." The same line she used at her very first event, only now it carried weight. And the commissioner nodded. "We'll draft an agreement." Rena shook his hand. She wasn't chasing approval anymore. She was being asked to lead. That evening, she told the kids the news over dinner. Her son grinned. "Does this mean you're famous now?" She laughed. "Only in rooms that matter." Her daughter tilted her head. "Are you scared?" Rena paused. "Yes. But I've learned that scared and ready can live in the same body." Lyle, now more than just a friend, not quite yet a partner, smiled across the table. He didn't add anything, just reached over, squeezed her hand once, and kept eating. That was enough. Arden, meanwhile, had transferred to a new firm. Not at the same level, not even in the same city. He had moved 2 hours away, closer to his aging father, trying to rebuild something he didn't yet know how to name. No woman beside him, no scandal behind him, just work, therapy, cooking lessons he never would have taken before, and silence. He hadn't spoken to Rena in months, hadn't tried. He knew she was doing well, mutual friends shared enough. But one day, he mailed a package, no return address. Inside, a letter and a key. Rena opened it on a Thursday. She recognized his handwriting instantly. The key was to their old house, the one they'd shared for 10 years before everything cracked. The letter was 3 pages long, no pleas, no begging, just truths. He detailed everything, why he strayed, how he rationalized it, what he lost, what he learned. The last paragraph read, "I don't want forgiveness. I don't expect grace. I only ask that when you walk through this house again, see it not as the place where we ended, but the place that proved you could survive anything, including me." She sat with the letter for 20 minutes. Then she called her lawyer, asked if there was any paperwork left to close on the house. There wasn't. It was now in her name, fully, gifted. No debt, no ties. She didn't cry, didn't smile either. She folded the letter, kept it in a drawer, and visited the house 2 weeks later. It was empty, but clean. The walls still held faint marks of crayon from when the kids were smaller. The kitchen still had the little notch where she'd once hit a pan in frustration. The master bedroom still had the same light fixture she always wanted to replace. She walked through slowly, room by room, not remembering pain, but recognizing growth. Before she left, she stood in the backyard. The swing Arden built still hung from the oak tree. She touched the rope and whispered, "I forgive the version of me who thought this was all I'd ever deserve." Then she locked the door and left. North Studio expanded its programming that summer. Art therapy for survivors of domestic betrayal, writing circles for women rebuilding after infidelity, a scholarship fund named not after Rena, but after her late grandmother, who once told her, "When you don't know what to say, build something worth listening to." She honored that, not in grand speeches, but in quiet investments. A new intern, a grant given anonymously to a rival studio, a check sent to a student's mother so the girl could focus on painting, not bills. Rena didn't need applause. She had impact. One night, Lyle found her asleep on the couch. She'd fallen asleep reviewing grant proposals. He carried her to bed gently, tucked a blanket around her, and kissed her forehead. In the morning, she woke up to coffee and a note. Even empires need rest. You're building one that heals. She smiled, then texted him, "Come to the rooftop tonight, 8 p.m. I'm ready to talk." He came, dressed simply, clean-shaven, a little nervous. She poured 2 glasses of wine. "I want to know what you see when you look at me," she said. He didn't hesitate. "I see someone who rebuilt without bitterness, who turned betrayal into beauty. I see a woman I'd never try to own, but would be honored to walk beside." She nodded. "I've been afraid that choosing love again would mean repeating old patterns." "It doesn't," he said, "because you're not who you were, and I'm not him." Silence lingered. Then she stepped forward and kissed him. Not rushed, not desperate, present, certain. The kiss wasn't fireworks. It was the end of winter, slow warmth, quiet certainty, a promise that didn't need a ring to be real. When they pulled back, Rena said, "I don't want to be saved." Lyle smiled. "Good. I only came to stay." 3 months later, North Studio hosted its biggest exhibit yet, not in a rented gallery, but in a space the city gifted them. A historic hall, renovated and reimagined as a community hub, now bore a new sign, the Aldrich Center for Renewal. The name wasn't about her past, it was about what came after. That night, Rena stood on the small stage, her hand resting on the mic. She didn't give a speech filled with pain or poetry. She told a story about a girl who thought loyalty meant silence, about a woman who learned silence doesn't mean surrender, about a mother who turned broken vows into painted futures. And then she said, clearly, to anyone who's ever been told their worth depends on what they endure, let this place prove otherwise. You don't have to stay where your voice is small. Build where your strength is heard. Applause didn't thunder. It rolled, steady and warm. Not adoration, respect. In the crowd, Lyle stood near the back, arms folded, proud. Beside him were Rena's kids, both holding sketchbooks. Her daughter leaned over and whispered, "She looks so happy." "She earned it," he said, and she had. Arden watched the live stream in his quiet apartment, alone. No glass of wine, no music playing, just him. He didn't cry. He didn't feel sorry for himself either. He stood when Rena finished speaking and whispered, "You did good." Then he closed the laptop and stepped outside for air. Later that week, Rena visited her grandmother's grave. She brought daisies, sat on the grass, and told her everything, from the betrayal to the rebuild. She talked about the studio, the kids, the new space, the letter Arden sent, and the way she'd learned to forgive the story without rewriting the truth. As she stood to leave, she whispered, "Thank you for raising me to be someone who finishes her own chapters." That spring, the studio began hosting evening classes led by alumni. One night, Rena stayed late cleaning up. As she turned off the lights, Lyle appeared in the doorway. "Thought you'd be gone by now," he said. "I like closing the space myself. Makes me feel grounded." He nodded, stepped in, and handed her a small velvet box. She looked at it, but didn't open it. "Is this a question?" she asked. "It's an invitation," he replied. "Not to rush anything, but to choose what we build together." She opened the box. Inside wasn't a ring. It was a silver key, engraved with one word, home. He didn't say more. He didn't need to. She wrapped her fingers around the key, smiled, and said, "I'll lock up tonight. Meet me at the rooftop." That night, under soft city lights, she placed the key beside her wine glass and said, "I once thought revenge meant destroying someone else." He listened, quiet. "But real revenge," she continued, "it's living so well that their power disappears." He nodded. "And you've done that?" "No," she corrected. "I'm doing it. Every day." Then she leaned in. No promises, no pressure, just presence. That was the love she was building now. Not loud, not perfect, but real. Have you ever been betrayed and thought it would break you? Rena's story reminds us that betrayal is not the end. Sometimes it's the beginning of becoming who you were always meant to be. Loyalty without self-respect is not. Love forgiveness doesn't require reunion. Growth is the sweetest revenge, and walking away, that's sometimes the bravest thing you'll ever do. Drop a comment if you've ever had to rebuild yourself. Like this video if you felt Rena's journey in your bones. Subscribe to Mr. Charles Stories for more real, raw, and redemptive tales. Because here, we don't tell fairy tales. We tell truths that heal.